Hello, everybody. As it is the beginning of the year, I wanted to share with you the reading list that I've prepared for myself so far. Probably it will grow along the way depending on my pace of reading during the year, because those are not so many books, but we have a busy life by working, or in my case doing the podcast. So I don't know how much time I'll have to read, but I have a big pile of books for the beginning of the year. And I wanted to share some of those with you so that maybe you can get inspired, or you can share your books and you can give some suggestions back. So let's start. So the books that I want to read, they're in two different languages, so English and Italian, but I guess the one in Italian you can find in English, so let's start with this one. It will be the book from Marcus Aurelius. It's called Thoughts. In Italian, it's Pensieri. I wanted to read this book because I've heard it's a very good book with short thoughts about how to behave, how to live. It's more like self-improvement book, but written by somebody that has lived thousands of years ago. And as someone that has lived in Rome, I wanted to check out what my friend Marcus Aurelius has written. Another thing that I want to improve this year are my reading skills. So I've noticed also by doing the podcast episodes for YouTube that I do a lot of typos, that I have to improve my way of expressing myself in English. So I got this book from Glaeser. It's called Write Useful Books. So I'm now through. I started with this one. I'm on chapter 2. It sounds good. It's by Rob Fitzpatrick. So as soon as it's finished, if you want, I can give you some review. Before the holiday started, I was reading this one, the Copywriter's Handbook. It's by, who it is by? Robert W. Bly. And it's a really good book so far. It's very good for someone that has no experience with copywriting or doesn't know exactly what copywriting is. It's like the way to learn how to write better text to sell your products or describe what you do. I think it's a really good book. I started and I read quite a lot of it, but I'm not through it. So I'll go back to this one after I've read the Write Useful Books. Then I wanted to learn a little bit about sales. And this one, it's been recommended many times by Chris Doe, and I think it's a really good book. It's not so big, it's quite thin. It's called The Win Without Pitching Manifesto. It has also a really nice print, and it's very nice for your library. It's called it's by Blair Enns. So this is another one I want to do and to read. Probably will be after the books I mentioned. Then I wanted to improve my personal finances this year, and I have some books here already, but I've read that this one, although it has a very cheesy cover, it's one of the best personal finances book ever written. It's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. As you see, I don't know, for me as a designer, this cover, it's very cheesy. It looks cheap. Also, the print, I bought the cheapest version of it. It's like $7 or something like this. But it's about what is written inside. So I want to read it because I want to work on my personal finances. And this will be after I don't know in which way I'm going to read them. Probably I'll need to do a list so that I stay on track by reading actually the book. Then this is a book I found about through Architect Network. Architect Network, it's the platform started by my friend Ollie Thomas and his partners. And it was recommended by Julia Di Mauro. I think she was also on our podcast. but it was recommended on their platform, so to say. They do a weekly chat on Clubhouse, so they mentioned real estate titans. I work as an architect, but I don't know much about real estate, and this is a book that's written by Erez Cohen, and it's 7 key lessons from the world's top real estate investors. So I want to learn a little bit more about the business of real estate. And then I have 2 books, which one was recommended by the first guest of 2022 on the podcast. I won't reveal who that is, but the book, it's called Triumph of the City: How Our Greatest Invention Make Us Richer, Smarter, Greener, Healthier, and Happier, by Edward Glaeser. That's this one with this very nice cover. It's also a New York bestseller, so I think I'm gonna read this one. I'm really passionate about the topic of the city and how to make a better city to live, because I live in Frankfurt. I moved here from Rome, and I have to say it's very nice living in Rome. But also moving here, it's so much livable. You go anywhere by your bike, and you don't have traffic jam problem and so on. And when I was buying Triumph of the City, the algorithm suggested Happy City by Charles Montgomery. It's also, I don't know, it says, I don't know if it's a bestseller, but it was looking interesting. So it says transforming our lives through urban design. So I'm gonna read this one. So this is so far my reading list for now. I think I'm gonna add Shoe Dog. I have this as an Audible audiobook, but I don't know, I cannot concentrate because I like to read with my own pace, and when I listen to books, sometimes following the pace of the reader, it's not so cool. But it was a cheap book. It's like these books, I recommend, if you speak English and if you can read it in English, if you buy the books in English, they're cheaper, because I think translating them costs a lot of money. So if you want to buy a book in your religion, or like in your mother tongue, for example, Shoe Dog, my dad was reading it in Italian during the holidays, and it was, I think, $20. And if you buy it in original language, it's like $9, which is super good. And it's a great book, I've heard. Yeah, that's so far. If you want, along the way, I'll update you with other readings that I will try to find. And I'll be curious to know what is your reading? Are you reading, and what are you planning to read this year? So let me know down in the comments. And yeah, good for you. Read a lot of books, but also do a lot of stuff, because it's good to read and then put the things you learn in practice. That's it. Okay. Have fun.